With the hot weather being fast approaching now and the summer months being closer than ever, with really the weather right now being absolutely glorious, the time to visit theme parks is perfect right now, and it really is exciting to get all those trips booked for theme parks this summer. And with that in mind, I was thinking about all the parks that I wanted to visit this year and all the new parks and all the parks I wanted to revisit, and this spurred the thought of what different theme park lands we have and which ones I wanted to visit. And I thought that would make a perfect video, and it's one which I can't believe I haven't actually made yet, and that is the top 5 themed areas in theme parks in the UK. In my opinion, I do need to stress again, and for those of you who haven't seen videos on this channel before, me putting the in my opinion part in these videos is very necessary because some of my opinions on theme parks are quite comical to a lot of people, so you have been warned. So then, in at number 5 is one which I fell in love with the first time I ever rode this ride, and I'll be honest, it's held a soft spot ever since, and that is the Swarm Island at Thorpe Park, with obviously this island encapsulating the Swarm itself, and this area is just amazing. And the reason I love this area is just the level of clever little details you've got in it is incredible. With the wing over drop going underneath the aeroplane wing, which I just think is amazing. The 0G roll going through the billboard afterwards, or even having a prop with fire effects on it, which although I haven't been on in a few years, they are incredible when they are on, and it really does add to this area. And the ride station being themed to an abandoned church, it really does all come together to make an incredible experience and area. And I have to be honest, this ride does hold a soft spot. With the soundtrack made by Yumi at 6, the band which I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with, they did in fact make the soundtrack to The Swarm, with it being called The Swarm, with this song actually being very popular in terms of their lineup, with them performing it live when they do gigs, because it is an absolutely great song and an awesome soundtrack to a ride. So that really does all come together to make this area incredible. In at number 4, we have the Vikings land at Drayton Manor. And this was really one which I visited Drayton Manor last year because I just hadn't been yet, and thought, well, I've got to make a trip to Drayton Manor. As I make videos on theme parks, it makes sense to visit all the ones I can. And I have to say, the Vikings area at this park is incredible. And I know that this might be a very short-lived list given that we've got their new coaster opening now with a new themed area very soon, but for now, the Vikings area at Drayton Manor really does stand out for me, just because it's really aesthetically pleasing in that it's got a nice amount of sort of planting around it and greenery. It feels quite spaced out, and this area really is just made even better by the rides that you've got within it. With you having Thor, which is a Zamperla disco, which is a very good fun ride seen at many parks, but is a very good one at that, and great fun to go on. And then the ride which I personally think stands out in this area, Loki, which is the Zamperla Nebula, which is just incredible. I have to say, although these rides aren't very intense, they're good fun to go on, and even better to watch off ride, because it's amazing watching it weave in and around itself. You really could just watch this for hours. It is a very good thing to have in the area, and really does draw you into it in my opinion. And made even better by the fact of when it opened, Loki was in fact the UK's first Zamperla Nebula, which is an awesome thing to really hold the title for, isn't it? They also rethemed the park's powered coaster to fit into the area, which is now called Jormungandr? I don't know, I'm awful with pronunciations, don't judge. But yeah, it's great to see that coaster with a new lease of life, and this area really just is a great addition to the park. In at number 3 is one which has really taken a soft spot back in my heart, because I loved this area before just because of the sentimentality of it. Now I love it all that bit more because it really is better than ever, and that is Forbidden Valley at Alton Towers, because my god, this area is the best it's ever been in my opinion, and that is truly because Alton Towers have now been able to add theming to it. You've got the helicopter on the entrance, which is just amazing to see. The Nemesis station, like the creature itself, is looking better than ever in my opinion, with the smoke effects as the ride goes over it, the massive eye with the claws with the actual moving on pneumatics around it. It's just incredible, and I have to say, this area really has taken its place back in my heart and is now really, in my opinion, the best area at Alton Towers, especially knowing that Project Ocean will soon open this area, meaning there's even more to draw you into it. With it being a Huss top spin, it will be very good to look at and really fit this area because, well, Ripsaw did a perfect job of that, didn't it? So I can't wait to see that. In at number 2, we have the World of Jumanji at Chessington World of Adventures, and that is purely, in my opinion, just because this land is amazing to look at. It is just awesome because it focuses on, obviously, Jumanji being in a jungle. It really does focus on having lots of greenery around it, and now that it's had a bit of time for it to grow in, it's looking better than ever. In fact, I think it looks better than it did on opening day because of the fact of the greens and bushes and everything have grown in, and it looks incredible with that Jaguar shrine in the middle with the ride wrapping around it where it has the store and goes back again. It's just amazing. It's why you see it so photographed and posted online, is because it's just an amazing thing to look at. And especially with a coaster wrapping around this area, it's awesome. With this area having 2 small scale flat rides with Ostrich Stampede and Mamba Strike, with this area even having like a food and beverage unit by Ostrich Stampede, and it's just an awesome area to look around. And even with the centre of it having what is essentially a sole obstacle course thing for the kids to go on in the area, with it all held together with Mandrill Mayhem, which is just an amazing ride. It's somehow managed to meet the mix of being great for families, but really enjoyable for everyone else as well at the same time. Like, it's really good fun, this ride. It's clearly done its job perfectly, because last year I was able to convince my sister to go on it, and it was in fact her first ever coaster with an inversion. So it clearly is a very well put together area, because it was the sort of ride that drew her in to go on her first ever coaster with an inversion, which I have to say, brilliant, well done Chessington, because that's a milestone I've been looking forward to her overcoming for a while now. So that's probably why it's so highly rated for me. I will put in some honourable mentions before we get to number 1, because as I said, not only is this my opinion on this, I often make video scripts and sort of do it on the same day that I record it because I want it to be fresh in my mind. Then by the time I've uploaded it, I go back going, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't mention that or that. There'll be a lot of lands that I've even forgotten to put in this video that I'd love for you to mention in the UK, because as I said, I often see myself reading through them. But I'll go into the honourable mentions now. With a lot of the main ones, while staying at Chesington, the Land of the Tiger with the Tiger Rock log flume in the middle of it is just a beautiful land. Mythica at Legoland is also a great one. Although I'm not a mad fan of the Flying Theatre, it isn't a bad ride, and the area it's in is really, really good to see, and is a great way to sort of set the precedent for UK parks in standards of theming. As well as that one, which I'd feel guilty not to mention, given that it is 10 years old this year, we have cbebes land at Alton Towers. It must be great because it's always packed at Alton, really, isn't it? I've got many memories of taking my little sister there when she was a lot younger, and it's a great land, I have to be honest. They have done a good job with it. As well as that, at Drayton Manor, Thomas Land is a very great land as well. And there's so many more, I've probably missed out so many. I'll be honest, as I was making this script, I was going through going, I know I've missed some, but what ones have I missed? So please do put them in the comments. But so then, in at the number 1 spot, the area which I honestly do believe is the clear winner for this list, we have Tornado Springs at Thorpe Park, with Tornado Springs being themed to a Midwest desert town in the American heyday of the 1950s, with Route 83 passing through it, with obviously the American connotations to Route 66. And I have to say, this area is just everything a theme land should have. And I'll be honest, it's the reason why myself and a lot of other people that I've spoken to, in fact, hold Poltons to such a high regard, because when Polton says they're theming something nowadays, they really do. And this area is the perfect example of it. It really does pull into that theme perfectly, with it sort of being that Route 83 theming and the American town. It is really great, with some really good rides there too, with one of the standout ones in my opinion being Cyclonator, an awesome gyro swing ride which really does pack a punch for a family theme park. I'll be honest, I went there without sort of reading into this land, because I like to sort of leave it up to the element of surprise and be surprised by the elements within it. And this ride really was great. I have to say, it was a really good fun ride, and surprises you that it's in a family park, but it shows that Polton's really is going the extra mile, really, isn't it? As well as that, they have in fact got a family coaster there of a smaller scale by the name of Farmyard Fly, which is great for the much younger people going to Polton's, as it isn't too intense, but is really great with the theming and really good fun, with the standout coaster of the area being a Mack family spinning coaster going by the name of Storm Chaser. And I have to say, this ride is amazing. It is really good fun, and it really is that ride that just has re-rideability, because not only do you have the theming around the queue line and station and around the ride, it's a good fun ride with some fun little elements to it as well, which really does all come together with so much more that I haven't even mentioned for this land. That's the great part. There is so much to Tornado Springs, but it all really does come together to make this area just incredible. So then, those are just my few that I put in this video. I did in fact have to make a lot of notes for this video and may have strayed from those, so I may have to put a load of little bits in the edit of bits I've missed. As I said, please do let me know of areas that you think are standout areas for the UK and theme parks. I'd love to hear them, because as I've said, probably missed a lot out in this video. In fact, I'm kind of thinking of some now, but I've passed that point. I might as well end the video off. But please do let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe. It really does make the world of difference and really does help this channel out. And I'll see you all in the next one.